I thought about it.
Okay, well, we're going to get things started now, I guess. Welcome, everyone. My name is Lori Perez. I'm happy to be here on behalf of Fox Connecticut and the Current to be continuing the conversation that has gone on in our community, our statewide community, since, of course, the shooting in Newtown. And also glad to be part of Congresswoman Elizabeth Esty's first town hall meeting. You know, our freshman Congresswoman, whose term really started on that day, December 14th, before you were sworn in. And we appreciate that. And she's here to update us really on the progress that has begun there in your first term, and also to take your questions. So we're going to take questions in a number of ways. Some of you have already submitted questions on these note cards, which I believe that you can still do. But also, there will be people walking around with microphones, so you can stand up and ask your question. And we're really going to concentrate the questions around 5 categories today. Everything from supporting Second Amendment rights to criminal background checks and trafficking, and then school safety, and of course other proposals that the Congress is looking at about control. So please welcome Congresswoman Elizabeth Esty. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori, for joining us tonight. Thank you all for coming out. I want to thank the good folks from Waterbury. I think that the mayor, as most of you may know, it's budget season in most of our communities, and he's going to try to join us at some point, but I think he may have other meetings. I want to thank the local law enforcement for making sure that we had good traffic flow, and I see some of my friends from Newtown and elsewhere who are joining us here tonight. And I really want to thank all of you for coming out, because this is so important as part of our national conversation, and nowhere more so than right here in the 5th District of Connecticut, a place none of us wish we were at the center of this controversy, but we are. The tragedy that happened in Newtown has touched us incredibly deeply as a people, as a country, and nowhere more so than here. We couldn't stop what happened there, but what we knew now is up to us. And that's why this conversation tonight and others like it that are taking place all over the United States are so incredibly important. And your being here tonight, and those of you who have already sent emails or phoned, please keep the feedback coming, because it's really important. The Congress, we all need to hear from you, and everyone needs to be part of addressing this situation. I'm serving as one of 12 vice chairs of the Congressional Gun Violence Prevention Task Force. And we have held a series of meetings, of hearings. We consulted with experts from around the country on issues as diverse as school safety and mental health, to alcohol, tobacco, and firearms officials, law enforcement officials, gun manufacturers, representatives from the NRA, sportsmen, teachers, victims' families, physicians, really leaders of the faith community from all over the country to get input. And based on that work, working with the administration, with the vice president as well, we've come up with a series, which is kind of our organizing principle for tonight, is 15 principles that we think are really, really important for this country to keep in mind as we look at fashioning national legislation to reduce the killings in our cities and towns. And that's really what the focal point is. You know, we have over 30,000 gun deaths a year at this point in the United States. And I'm pretty sure we all share a belief that that's too many. That's too many children and brothers and sisters and husbands and wives who are dying. And so we need to work together as a country to what can we do? What can we do to reduce that number? And so these principles are really what we put together. We're kind of organizing our work around that. Now, I know a lot of you folks know I've been on record with some of my views around these issues, but again, we have not yet got legislation before us in the House of Representatives, and so your input tonight and over the coming next few months is really important to do the best possible job we can. So my goal tonight is to give you a little bit of information and really mostly to hear from you. I know we're not going to agree on every issue, but I do want you to know that your input really matters. And I can bring your concerns back, and you may well have questions I don't have the answer to. And if you do, I will get back to you. I'll check on it and get back to you, because that's part of what we need to do. There are a lot of really complicated issues. One I've worked on for 25 years are the mental health concerns. We have real issues in this country. We deinstitutionalized as a country, and we didn't provide support services. Some of what we're seeing now is related to that problem. But again, not easy answers. I want to thank you all for taking the time to come here tonight and for being involved in the democratic process. Because this issue that we're grappling with of how to keep people safe in their schools, our children safe in their schools, folks safe walking down the street and in our communities, that's not a political problem, that's an American problem, and we're going to need to find an American solution working together to solve that. So again, I want to thank you for participating in this, sharing your thoughts and concerns and ideas. And with that said, I'm going to turn it back to Lori.
Okay, so the first category that we're going to focus the questions on is about efforts to support Second Amendment rights. And we're going to take 12 minutes for each of these categories. So there'll be a brief statement by Congresswoman Esty, followed by questions.
Okay, so the first principle we're looking at here is on Second Amendment rights. So that everyone be very, very clear about how those of us who are on the task force and every member of Congress I know is doing with it. It is clearly in the Constitution and decided pretty recently in the Heller decision in the Supreme Court that there is a personal right to self-defense that is tied to the right to bear arms. So nobody is putting proposals for, I'm certainly not supporting, and nobody's putting forward proposals to take away that right in any respect. That is the law of the land, and that's in the Constitution. But the Heller decision also made clear there can be reasonable restrictions for safety of the public. And so it's really at where that boundary is that we're looking at right now. So I've been hearing, as you can imagine, as I should, particularly in our district, we've got a lot of hunters and sportsmen and women in our district, and people concerned about their personal safety. And those are very serious concerns, and those need to be respected for the rights of law-abiding firearm owners in our country. But we do need to deal with this access question, that for folks who shouldn't have firearms. So it's really important that whatever we do, we need to have systems that support law-abiding gun owners to have their firearms and to use them appropriately. So that is really important, and that is not something that we're looking to change, and making sure that whatever we do acknowledges that and keeps that strong. It's an important part of our history.
Okay, so let's, if someone has a question, let's start out in the audience.